A very good morning and welcome to the Ladies Club. It is a brand new year. Happy 2020. Thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to be back and in the swing of things as we bring you yet another exciting episode of the leading women's sports talk show right here in South Africa. My name is Bailyn Kirtley.
And this is where TLC gives women in sport the real recognition they deserve and a cozy platform to tell their own stories. Now, their journey inspires us to reflect on and be grateful of all the obstacles that they have overcome to reach their goals. Looking back at the year that was and what we're looking forward to most in women in sport come 2020, which is now.
So today we look back at the year that was for South Africa's female sporting sheroes as they carried the pride of the country on their shoulders and in their hearts, and boy, didn't they make us proud. Remember, you can also join in the conversation, share your views on all social media platforms. So she's our hashtag the Ladies Club. On Twitter, the handle is @sports, @SABC, @Lebomutswedi, @Bailyn Kirtley. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely. Now, 2019 was a really fantabulous year for women athletes. They produced magical moments on the netball courts, rugby, football fields, in the pools, and in gymnastics. And each athlete we've interviewed shared a very unique story that kept us motivated and absolutely inspired us. Now, we look back at some of those great interviews that really stood out, and I'm looking forward to you guys seeing them.
Yeah, but first, we've got to kick things off in the way that we traditionally do with a few words of wisdom. And this week, it's from our very own women's national football team coach, Desiree Ellis. She says, do the best that you can, know your worth, and your value. Coach Ellis had a splendid 2019 guiding Banyana Banyana to their first FIFA Women's World Cup in France, and all of her accolades were recognized as she was nominated once again for CAF's Women's Coach of the Year award, an award that she won in 2018.
I think it's really fantastic. Her words being, what did she say? Do the best that you can, know your worth, and also know your value. I mean, for me, that's so important, especially when you know your worth, then you are able to really carve out the way that you want to carry on, whether it's your career, your life plans, mentally, physically, emotionally. Just know your worth, because once you do, nobody else can tell you otherwise.
Yeah, it also reminds me of the quote that they played so often after Miss South Africa became Miss Universe. Zozi was speaking about the most important thing that we've got to teach young girls, and it's about leadership. And she says, not because we don't want to be leaders, but because of what society expects of us, we need to own our space. And that comes down to knowing your value and what you actually bring to the table. And I think that that is seen in what Desiree actually says, and so important when it comes to women's sport.
Absolutely. We're going to go for a quick break, but there's still plenty more when we come back right here. Molnano Larunala, the Ladies Club. You were provincial goalkeeper back when you were at the age of 12 from Mpumalanga. You were active. You did the 10Ks. You played hockey. And then transitioning from that mentally to now, I cannot move. I can't stamp. I can't help myself up.
You know what? It wasn't easy. I'm not gonna lie and say, no, it wasn't easy. It took time. It took a lot of battles in my head. It also needed for me to push people out of the way. Because every time when you become differently abled, people wanna treat you like an egg. You're like, oh my gosh, you're gonna break. And then you don't learn and you don't get stronger. So I had to tell my mother, stop coming to see me. It was hard for me. It was probably harder for her, but I had to do it for me. You know, I had to.
Easy for her.
I had to tell my grandmother, who also raised me, I can't see you. You know, I had to go through the motions. I refused to go home after hospital. So when I got discharged, I went to my own place in Joburg.
I do have a confession actually that I listen to. A voice recording that I speak to myself.
Wow.
So that's something that I started back when I had the injury. So I had to remind myself who I believe I am and what the potential is inside of me. So I listen to that, and every year and for every season that changes.
Yes, of
so
course.
what I feel in my heart for this season and for this time. So I always listen to that when I warm up as well.
Open yourself up to life. You know, tomorrow is not guaranteed to anyone, and that's one of the lessons that I share with in the book as well, to say you only have this one life. that's gifted to you. You know, make the best of it. Go out there, conquer. You know, I'm all about breaking boundaries, and my life has been surrounded around sport, health and fitness. I want to branch out in a completely different direction business-wise. So watch this space.
What is the secret to success for any mother that wants their child to go on to be a professional sports person?
Be supportive, be honest as much as possible, and try to know more about the sports that your child will be participating in.
Okay, so knowledge and support, those are two very important things. And I suppose a good dose of humor wouldn't be bad either. I think in your case, though, you need some dance moves.
The two so move.
Okay, so can you show us your moves?
Maybe I can teach you how to do it.
Can I do it with heels? I've got some serious heels on, but I'll try anyway. Okay, Susan, show me.
You know, good dancers, they normally dance on their stilettos.
Now you're putting me under pressure, Susan. Okay, show me the dance.
You say 1, 2, 1, 2, and your chest back. Once you have done this, then it's easy. You say this, this.
I think the wrong things are shaking. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with the Ladies Club. It's a brand new year and we are kicking it off in style. You can get involved in the conversation on social media. It's so easy on all platforms. Just use our hashtag the Ladies Club on Twitter @SportSABC, @Lebumotswedi, the beautiful, and @Fenukati.
Thank you very much, Avela. Now let's look back as the Springboks lifted the Rugby World Cup trophy. There was a team of women who played key roles behind the scenes, public relations and administration manager Annalie Murray and top-notch physiotherapist, that's Renee Naylor, put in all the work to help bring home the Webb Ellis trophy.
Yeah, Murray is thriving in her role as Springbok PR manager, where she has become more of a mother figure. She's been in the box setup, can you believe this, for 2 decades, 20 years. She's doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, as she puts it.
Absolutely. Now, Naila, meanwhile, is a member of the Springboks all-female sports physiotherapist team, along with Vivian Verwant, as well as Dr. Pile. She's always been passionate about rugby, she says, and has been a Bok physio for now also a decade. She's had to save the day more than once, of course, with her warm, loving hands. We absolutely recognize these women, incredible ladies that have done so well for the Boks, lifting that Webb Ellis behind the scenes. And we hardly take note of the behind the scenes team.
Although what I really like is that rugby just seems to have done everything right when they won that World Cup, didn't they? I mean, from the message that they sent the country, the way that they united the country, and then also the way that they acknowledged the people that helped them do it. So you saw a lot of the players, you know, thanking their moms and their wives and their girlfriends. And I thought that was really beautiful, this recognition of the women that are also involved in rugby, because it certainly is not just in the management team where their professionalism certainly helps the Boks to do what they are, but just the emotional support that also surrounds that team is incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, there's plenty to be excited about when it comes to hockey. South Africa's women's hockey team will be among the 12 teams partaking at this year's Tokyo Olympic Games. I'm super stoked about that, because when I heard the news that both the men and the women's teams have been placed, the men's team in the Pool B in Pool A, women's team in a Pool A, men's team in Pool B, but our opponents, the likes of Germany, ranked #1, Great Britain, defending champions from Rio, a bit tough, but nonetheless, we're there, super proud of them.
Ooh. And the Netherlands also in our women's group.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough one.
It certainly is. Have they given you a call yet, Lebo, to ask you for your contribution to the women's hockey team?
I have been absolutely MIA. I was playing the Summer League towards the end of the year last year, 2019. And the Summer League, so there was a Summer League and outside smaller fixture where there's only 5 of you guys on the field. But
oh my word.
Our team was thrashed thoroughly all the time. I mean, we were playing against under 17 South African girls, and we kept on saying to them, guys, we like twice your age.
Was it indoor?
It was
hockey?
Outdoor.
Outdoor, but like 5-a-side?
It's 5-a-side. It's,
oh, wow.
After that, I hung up my boots. I'm okay. I love hockey from a distance now.
Okay. Okay, so we're going into the new year in need of a brand new sport that Lebo can take up, that she's not going to go up against the national under-17 team.
It's not going to be netball.
It's not going to be netball?
No. These nails are not going to be handling a ball.
There's the disclaimer right there. Speaking about netball, so Netball South Africa's president, Cecilia Molokwane, she took on a new title as president of African Netball after she was elected at Netball Africa's annual general meeting held in Cape Town. And it's important because as we look back at the highlights of 2019, this is certainly one of them. She replaces Botswana's Tebogo Lebotse-Sebego. Molokwane was also named Sports Administrator of the Year, the 2019 South African Sports Awards. And I think it was always going to go to her after South Africa won the right to host the Netball World Cup in 2023.
Which I'm looking forward to after we won our African champion towards the end of the year. I think it was an indication of what we could do as Netball South Africa in hosting the rest of the world. We're not yet there just as yet in terms of organizational structures around the mother city. A lot of things that didn't really go 100% well, but it's a learning curve. 2023 is still a little bit far, so we're getting there.
Now, what was also great to see is the South African girls in the 3-test series against England. Although they lost it 2-1, they did secure that victory at the end, and those matches were just so close. And if you think about the fact that this is a team in a rebuilding phase, we've got brand new management. Norma Plummer has left a great legacy, but you've seen Dumi and you've seen Dorette pick it up, and they've really walked forward with that baton. And then we've also got some other players that have said goodbye to the game so that that new crop can be developed for 2023.
And speaking of which, that's Erin Berger, who retired from international netball after an illustrious career spanning over 12 years. She made her national debut back in 2007 and went on to become the first South African to register 100 caps for the Spar Proteas, retiring as the most capped Proteas international with 125 caps. I spoke to her also just after that announcement of the retirement. What an incredible athlete, and she's got so much more to give to South African sports, South African netball fraternity. Looking forward to actually more coming from her.
Yeah, certainly. And what she's doing with her own company when it comes to developing young girls in the sport is absolutely incredible. And if anybody knows, it is Erin Berger, because back in 2011, she actually was a player of the tournament at the Netball World Cup. So it's actually time for us to take a break, but do stay with us because more highlights from 2019 are coming your way here on the Ladies Club.
Steeplechase by Ew. If it's a cook, how emiso. Ah, never.
Serious? No. No, if you are jump,
No. Where are the legs coming from to jump?
I need to coach being Jelaguti, Meling in the Imak, Masenzo figure Guyo, Pune in a Make white. But telling you, Masen Guyo Make white, get 1, 2, Bessinga jump. But if you are man,
If your house was on fire and you had to leave home quickly and there were only 3 items you could save, what would you save? 3 items, only 3.
Yo! My phone! It would be my phone. Definitely my phone. I'm not materialistic, so just my phone.
And maybe Tando.
Tando as well. Tando's coming with. I'll make sure he's there. He's the first one out. Come on. Yes. No, my phone. Yeah, just my phone.
And you're saying you're playing rugby. It's just like rugby. A girl, a female.
Obviously, if you're living in a township and you're a girl or a lady and you're playing a male-dominated sport, so people will be like, so are you trying to be a man or something, you know? Are you a tomboy? Are you a lesbian? I'm like, no, I'm a girl, I'm a lady. It's just that I play a certain sport. It's not about me being a lesbian. I'm a woman.
And that's a sexual preference. It's got nothing to do with sport.
Just because I play a sport that is a male-dominated doesn't mean now I'm that person. So I knew, like I said, I knew what I wanted.
And then she also wears a uniform. She's a firefighter. I really want to get into that.
It's getting hot already.
I mean, anybody that wants to be saved, I would rather be saved by Zinta. I mean, looking like that.
I always tell them to light up their houses if they want to see.
Oh, no, I'm going to be lighting up my house very soon just to be saved by her. Where does this strength, mental strength, come from?
Once you start winning the battles in your head, it becomes easier. Because I met a lot of people, when you become differently abled, you meet other differently abled people. And people will be like, didn't you go through depression? I was like, I didn't go through depression. I went through anger, yes. I was very upset that I could never walk again. That upset me. I mean, one day you wake up, you go for a cycle and you can't walk again. You know, I was very upset that every time I need to go to the shop, I have to ask someone to pass me something. You know, that when I'm in a mall, people can just grab my wheelchair and be like, oh, you think you're pushing slow? Can you help me push faster? Hello.
I'm quite okay with this, with the pace. Yeah.
So, you know, but I was never depressed. And I think it's because of the sports.
Sure.
You know, and because of sports, I found also, I really learned how to be happy again. You know, it's hard to be upset when you're cycling 90 Ks or you're cycling from Pretoria to Cape Town. How can you be upset?
Welcome back. Ntse buhile na la rona le ratehang la mafumahadi ha ntse re lisa kwana ka 2019 re bona all the leading women in sport, the game changers, trailblazers ba ileng ba sebetsa hantle ka selemo sa 2019 and obviously paving the way ka selemo se ntjha sa 2020.
Yeah, you talk about paving the way, didn't they pave us just a golden way, and we've been reliving some of those moments on today's show. Let's go back to a team that we are going to speak about this moment for a very, very long time. Banyana making history after qualifying for the FIFA Women's World Cup for the first time in the country's history. Desiree Ellis' Chargers secured their passage to the global showpiece after finishing as runners-up in the 2018 African Women's Cup of Nations. It was a significant moment for the team when they stepped onto the field in their debut at the tournament.
Absolutely, and their World Cup dreams, looking at the World Cup performance, came to an end following a 4-0 loss to Germany in the final match of Group B. But you know what? We've been heavily so proud of them, especially when you talk about Thembi Kgatana being nominated as well in the CAF Awards.
Yeah, for Player of the Year.
Yeah, so I think they've done really well. Yes, we haven't seen the desired results that South Africa wants, but considering where we are compared to the rest of the world, the fact that we've just started Moban yesterday, I think we've done pretty well.
You know, you speak about Thembi and I just take a deep breath, because if you just close your eyes quickly and think back to that moment when she scored against Spain and how it just felt as if this is the stage where South Africa needs to be on. Finally, women's football in our country is where it needs to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's move on to sport with a cause, because this has been such an interesting topic last year. Many South Africans are now using sport as a tool to change lives and provide hope for those who face adversity and challenges. Now, Taryn Tomlinson has taken on a challenging journey of conquering Kilimanjaro in her wheelchair.
Wow. She plans to summit Mount Kili to raise funds for a children's centre in Tanzania. Tomlinson developed rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 18 and has since dedicated her life to helping create accessible spaces for wheelchair access. Absolutely incredible.
Hats off.
Yep, hats off.
It's absolutely incredible that on a wheelchair, I don't even have the capacity to do it just on my own. I am so petrified of climbing Kilimanjaro as a fully able-bodied person, and I think you are doing such an amazing job. South Africa completely salutes her, absolutely. But let's move on to Metro FM presenter and newsreader, that's Pearl Shongwa, who successfully climbed up Mount Kilimanjaro in support of the Trek for Mandela, focusing on the hashtag Caring for Girls initiative run by the Mbumba Foundation.
Well, you've now put it out there. I think Pearl's going to come knocking on your door and she's going to say, Lebu, you can do this thing.
No.
I've done this thing. You can do this thing. I remember speaking to Pearl about this journey. It was an incredibly special moment when she reached the top of the mountain. And not only was it the fact that she was conquering the mountain, the highest tip in Africa, but she was also conquering all her fears. And that's something that we see with people that use sport as a tool for good. Mandela says sport has the power to change the world, but not only does it have the power to change the world, it also does something within the people that use it as a tool for good.
Absolutely. Now, Sabi Mashiko ran the last 5 kilometers of the Comrades Marathon. Chatting to her was absolutely incredible. But she ran this barefoot to raise awareness about sexual abuse. She partnered with the Barefoot Campaign to raise awareness and funds for the refurbishment of rape centres across Mzansi. That's because her own family member went through a rape ordeal, and she said she wasn't even feeling the pain. In terms of the physical pain, it was more of an emotional pain, as she's trying to put an awareness out there that this is what the small girls are going through. And it's really something that 2019 should be left at. We had a lot of that in 2019.
You know, I actually get goose flesh when you speak about it because Sabi's story is so tragic. I mean, what she's able to do with her heartache is incredible. But the fact is that she lost one of her young nieces, and the other one was also raped, even though she survived. These are children that are pre-teens, and with the cases week in and week out last year that we saw of gender-based violence, yes, I second you. Let us please leave that in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, 2019.
And
I'm saying 2020,
no,
and I'm bringing it here. No, we don't want it here.
2019.
Let's erase that from the University of South. We want to leave it in 2019.
Absolutely. Now, open water marathon specialist Karina Brewer has successfully completed a groundbreaking open water swim in Europe, crossing from France to Monaco and then to Italy in support of the Musu Kids, an organization that offers children from townships around the mother city the opportunity to learn the violin. Absolutely incredible.
Okay, what's more incredible is how long it took her. It took her 7 hours and 6 minutes to complete the 21-kilometer distance. But let's just tell you, she went from France to Monaco and then to Italy. Absolutely incredible.
Sure, I don't know if I'll be able to do that at all.
Lou, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Absolutely. In fact, we can do anything that we put our mind to. That's women in general. And that's the energy and the space we're taking up into 2020, thanks to our Miss Universe, Miss South Africa herself.
Absolutely. So, you know what happened? And I know that you have been to a lot of the games at the SAFA Women's League.
Yes.
Fantastic that the league finally got off the ground because SAFA, the heads of SAFA have been promising a National Women's League for many, many, many years. I actually recall an interview done with Ria Ledwaba at the African Women's Championship final that was in 2000 where South Africa hosted it at Vosloorus. It was the match that had to be abandoned after 70 minutes because of crowd violence. And Winnie Mandela was there watching the match. And in one of the interviews at halftime, Ria said, what we really need is a women's football league. So they were talking about a professional women's football league for the last 10 years. That's no exaggeration. Finally, it gets off the ground, but it hasn't come without its challenges. Hey?
Oh, it's been really tough for women's football. I mean, I was at a game where the actual ball was not to the professional capacity of air. It wasn't inflated properly. And the coaches were actually complaining. So those are the nitty-gritties. The fact that we didn't have referees, the game was delayed for over an hour in Bulugwane. Those are the things that teething problems, but we have to get above them. We have to rise above. We have to take it a little bit more seriously, make the ladies and the women that are taking part in the National League, take them seriously because this is their professional career at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And we look forward to a new season where we're going to have 2 new teams that are going to be taking part in My Indies and JVW. And that is our look back at 2019. It's also how we come to the end of this week's edition of the Ladies Club. It's been so great spending half an hour with you. It just went so quickly.
Absolutely. But before we go, remember that you can catch anything else on our social media platforms at Sports at SABC, at Valen Kirtley, at Lebo Motswedi. Your ideas, your thoughts, women that continue to inspire you, trailblazers, game changers that you would like us to have on our platform on the Ladies Club in 2020.
We look forward to hearing from you. And until we meet again, from myself, Valen Kirtley, Lebo, our entire team that brings you the Ladies Club week in and week out, remember that greatness is earned and never ever given. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.